The next year on the Nintendo Switch honestly looks so good. Even though we don't know nearly half of the games that Nintendo are planning to release, there are so many that I am so excited for already. So today I'm going to tell you all about which games I'm personally looking forward to, and just a warning, this video is guaranteed to make time pass slower. That's just how it works. As soon as you get excited for something in the future, time passes painfully slowly, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. First up is, of course, a farming sim. However, this may be the best farming sim we will ever see. We are, of course, talking about Coral Island. This is a Kickstarter funded game that raised over $1 million. Maybe now you're starting to realize why the last Nintendo Direct had so many farming sims. There is a lot of money to be had by doing a farming sim correctly, and this looks like it ticks every single farming sim box, as this game has something so many others lack, and that's depth. The depth comes from both the relationships you can make in the game, but also with each and every mechanic that seems to be so well thought out. There's already been announced that there'll be over 50 characters to meet in this game, and over 20 in which you can romance. Is it weird to be excited about the fact that each and every character has different outfits based on what season you're in? Because I really like that. There's of course relationship mechanics too, and if you decide to settle down and have kids, you will even get to see them age. Of course, you can do all the classic farming sim stuff like fishing, mining, farming, raising cattle, and all of this is set in a beautiful tropical landscape. And on top of all this, there's a bunch of new stuff you can do that most farming sims don't have. And even if they have some of these, they definitely don't have all of them. Like, for example, you can also explore the ocean and talk to mer people. Pretty sure Stardew didn't have mer people. There's also storyline quests too associated with the game, which I am so hyped for, as a solid story is what so many farming sims lack. 99% of the time the story comes from you taking over your grandparents' farm. So I'm really excited in having something a little bit more than that to go off of. There's also a museum, 9 festivals already confirmed so far, along with different biomes to explore. And they're also saying they're hoping to get multiplayer to come to this game too. And I know we're getting a ton of farming sims over the next year, but none of them I know of so far lets you use a slider to customize how long a day is in the game. So if you're someone like me who found Stardew very stressful as time seemed to go so fast, you can change that. You don't need to worry about any of that. And that's peak coziness in my opinion. Coral Island also has a prevalent theme of preservation and restoration of nature underpinning it all, which I absolutely adore. My one really big hope with this game is that it completely knocks it out of the park. I feel like we're in desperate need of a farming sim to raise the bar for all other farming sims. Over the last few years, I feel like the quality of so many different types of game has been elevated, but farming sims have just kind of stayed the same. I'm not gonna lie, I really hoped Harvestella would be this whole bar lifting moment, but I don't know. Don't know. Overall, I am beyond excited to play Coral Island. I'm so excited, in fact, that I'm not going to wait for it to come over to the Switch. I'm going to buy early access and stream it right here on this channel on the 11th of October, which is when it launches. Next up is another game I am beyond ready to play, and this is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, originally, I was going to call this game Cozy. And then Nintendo released this guy. Yeah, there's nothing cozy about this game anymore. That's ruined everything. The thing I'm most excited for in this Pokemon game isn't the gyms or the story, which, let's be honest, is probably going to be a little bit lackluster. It's the exploring. Pokemon Legends of Arceus let us dip our toes into playing a Pokemon game that's not so much about being the best there ever was, but more about exploring the new lands and the new Pokemon that we get to see in the overworld. Literally nothing beats seeing a brand new Pokemon spawn in front of you. Those are some of the best moments for me when I play a Pokemon game. We already know that the storyline will in fact be 3 storylines, and we also know that one of them will be a treasure hunt, which is something I'm looking forward to way more than the gym storyline. This is also going to be the first ever truly open world Pokemon game, and the first time you can play with up to 3 other people and explore the world together, which means for the first time ever, playing Pokemon does not have to be a solo experience. Yeah, I know you could do raid dens, but that's not really the same as running around with your friends in areas. I just love the idea of Pokemon being a group experience. Also, this game really shakes things up as you actually end up starting with the legendary Pokemon, which really makes me wonder what the storylines are even going to be. And for those who don't know, each version of the game comes with a different legendary, different exclusive Pokemon that I don't think have been fully announced yet, and different professors. The main crime is that the best professor and the best legendary are not in the same game, making this decision about which one I want to play incredibly difficult. Let me know which one you're getting in the comments down below, by the way. And dear Pokemon, I have but a few requests for this game. First of all, I just want the graphics to be half decent, aka better than Arceus. They were okay there, but it honestly let the game down, and I don't want to be pulled out of the experience by some shoddily made graphics. I would also absolutely love it if the Pokemon storyline could have some real cutscenes. I'm not even asking it to be to the same extent of Xenoblade. I don't want a quarter of the game to be cutscenes. I just want some voice acting and something to make the game just feel more real and more of an experience. And finally, the most important request, keep Sprigatito on 4 legs, okay? If he stands up on 2 legs, I will cry. I don't want another one of these. This is the most disappointing thing I'd ever seen, okay? 4 legs or bust. The next game I'm excited for is, another farming sim, but for good reason. This is Storia Seasons, A Wonderful Life. And don't skip this because you're like, ugh, another farming sim. Hear me out, okay? I think this game could be fantastic, and we only have to wait till February for it to come. This is a fairly unique take on a farming sim. Well, as unique as a remake can be, I guess, as this game is based on the original Harvest Moon A Wonderful Life that first released in 2003 on the GameCube. And this is a little bit different to other farming sims and every other Storia Seasons game that has come before it. As in this game, both you and everyone in the town age, giving it a much larger focus on the town and the interactions with people rather than just the farming. You start the game as a young adult who took over the farm when your father died. And this game, unlike other farming sims, is actually split into chapters, each chapter representing different stages of your adult life. Alongside running a successful farm, you also get to know the town and its villagers. This game sees you get married and have a child, with the trailer telling you that your choices in the game will affect what job your child goes into. I think that concept by itself is so freaking cool. And if this is anything like the original, then this means the game will end once you've played to the end of the time limit. Every other farming sim I've played has a sandbox feel to it. You can play the game for as long or as little as you decide to, and even if the story ends, you can carry on living your best life on the farm. But this one, no, you just have an end point where the game's done. But in this game, you can't ignore the townspeople for in-game years before finally deciding to talk to them after making your millions from the farm. Each season only lasts 10 days, and with every in-game year that passes, new villagers will come and old villagers will go. So if you don't take the time to talk to them, you may never get a chance to. A few other features in this game is the fact that villagers will have requests. I feel like having quests from villagers is like a vital part to making the town feel somewhat alive and making you feel involved in it. We also know that this game is more than a simple reskin of the original. For example, you now get the option to play as someone else other than a man, as you can be female or non-binary, and you can love whoever you want to love in this game. So the marriage candidates are not as limited as the original. They also say this game is going to have new events, more recipes to cook, never before seen quests, and enhanced festivals. In Pioneers of Olive Town, the festivals were so disappointing. They were literally just cutscenes that played out where you did absolutely nothing. So I really hope they've revamped them, they've changed things up to make it feel like you have some control and you make a difference in this game. And I also love the fact that there is a camera feature coming to this version of the game. I don't know what it is, but I just love games that have cameras. I can have so much fun taking pictures in the world. It's going to be great. Overall, I'm just excited to see what else they can do with this game. The concept by itself of you only having a set amount of years to live your best life in a farming sim is already so different, and it's going to make me play the game so differently. If they play their cards right, Storia Seasons A Wonderful Life could be such a special game to so many of us, and I cannot wait for February to come along so I can try it out. Next is a pretty obvious one, which is Breath of the Wild 2, or Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And yes, we found out it's Tears, not Tears. Nintendo did eventually tell us. This makes me feel like the darker take on Zelda is finally returning. Ocarina of Time always gave me the creeps, but in the best possible way, and is still to this day one of my favorite Zelda games. So I'm very much ready for this darker take on Breath of the Wild. And I really hope they go along the same route as they did with Breath of the Wild for the storytelling. It was one of the things I loved the most about this game. I'm ready to find out more about the world as it is, and maybe we'll get another chance to stop seeing Zelda as a perfect princess, as I love it when we get more depth given to these classic characters. I definitely need to go finish Skyward Sword before this game comes out though, because there's going to be so many references and links to that game by the looks of it. I'm just ready to sink in another 200 hours of my life into another fantastic Zelda game. Next is a game that I feel like we've been waiting for forever. This is Miniko's Night Market, which I think we now know is coming in 2023. At least I hope so. This game has been long awaited, with a series of setbacks making some think we'd never see it. And at this point, I am so unbelievably eager to get my hands on it. First of all, the art style looks absolutely impeccable. Miniko's Night Market is described as a narrative-driven adventure game about crafting, eating, and cats, and is a heartwarming game that celebrates Japanese culture. You play as Miniko, who's just arrived at a new home in a struggling, superstitious Japanese-inspired island, where the locals worship the sun cat Abe. Although Abe is widely accepted as a myth, sightings have been reported amongst the residents recently. In this game, you'll discover the secrets behind the town and restore the struggling village back to its former glory, all whilst you do daily activities, complete various jobs like cat racing and themed parades, venture on whimsical quests like solving puzzles and evading nosy agents to sneak into the areas in disguise, and craft peculiar items for the weekly night market. This looks like such a cute and unique game that I cannot wait to get my hands on, and its coziness in a way we've never seen before. And although we don't exactly have a date quite yet, it is something I am so unbelievably excited for. Those are the games I'm most looking forward to in the next year. Make sure to comment yours down below and click here to see one of my favorite games I've been playing at the moment. I'll see you next time. Bye.